Okay, well, welcome everybody to the TCS Women's Spotlight Workshop. So we have for you an exciting program today. We have 7 sort of short rising stars talks by rising stars in the field of theoretical computer science. And then we're going to take a short break. And then after that, we're going to have an inspirational talk by Cynthia Dork. But let's get started right away with the rising stars talks. So speakers, I think we said in an email, so these, you got 15 minutes, try to aim for 12-ish talking, 3 for questions. I'll interrupt if you're going too long. Great. Okay, so our first speaker today, we're very happy to have Prerona Chatterjee. Prerona is a PhD student at TIFR. She attained her bachelor's degree from St. Xavier's College and her master's from IIT Guwahati. Her research focuses on complexity theory. And in particular, she's made great contributions to algebraic complexity. And so today she's going to tell us about some of that work in algebraic complexity, lower bounds in algebraic circuit complexity. So take it away, Prerona. Oh, I think you're muted.
Hi, I'm Prerna. I'm from TIFR Mumbai, and I'll be talking about lower bounds in algebraic circuit complexity. So I'll begin by going over the algebraic models, the models that we study. So the most well-studied and most general model that is studied is the algebraic circuit. So it's a directed acyclic graph in which the leaves are labeled by variables, or they can also be labeled by field constants. And the internal nodes are labeled by addition or multiplication gates. Okay, so every internal node, therefore, is it naturally computes a polynomial. For example, this node computes x1 plus x2. This computes x1 plus x3, and then this will compute the polynomial, which is the product of the 2 polynomials. And finally, the root will compute alpha 1. So alpha 1, alpha 2 are constants, and it will compute alpha 1 times whatever is computed in this gate plus alpha 2 times whatever is computed in this gate. And finally, the polynomial that is computed at the root is said to be the polynomial which is computed by the algebraic circuit. Now, if the underlying graph is only allowed to be a tree instead of a directed acyclic graph, then the model is called an algebraic formula. Okay. Now, because it's a tree, if you want to reuse computation, then you need to recompute it. So for example, here, if you notice x1 plus x2 is being used twice. So which is fine in circuits, but for formulas, if you want to reuse it, then you have to recompute it. So x1 plus x2 has to be computed, is being computed twice here. Okay. So now any formula, any polynomial which can be computed by efficient circuits. So any n-varied degree d polynomial that can be computed by circuits of size which is polynomial in n and d is said to belong to the class VP. And any polynomial that can be computed by efficient formulas is said to belong to the class VF. Okay. Now any tree is obviously a DAG, and hence the class VF is a subset of VP. And most people believe that the inclusion is actually strict, but that's open. Another model of computation that is very well studied is the algebraic branching program. So it's a layered graph in which the first layer and the last layer has only one vertex, and edges only go between consecutive layers. So now every edge is labeled by an affine linear form in the underlying variables. The polynomial computed by any ST path is essentially just the product of the edge labels on that path. And the polynomial computed by the ABP is the sum of the polynomials computed by the various ST paths in the ABP. Okay. Any polynomial that can be computed by efficient ABPs is said to belong to the class VBP. And it turns out that VBP sits nicely in between the classes VF and VP in terms of computational power. So any formula can be converted, any poly-size formula can be converted to a efficient ABP, and any efficient ABP can be converted to an efficient circuit. Okay. And again, similarly, people believe that the inclusions are strict, but we don't know. So now that we know the models of computation, what is the central question in this area? The central question is whether you can find an explicit n-varied degree D polynomial that cannot be computed by small size circuits. Okay. And in a very, very recent breakthrough, Nutan Limai, Srikant Srinivasan, and Sebastian Tavenas showed that there do exist explicit n-varied degree D polynomials that cannot be computed by constant depth circuits. So here, for example, the circuit that we had depth 3. That's essentially the length of the longest path. So they showed that if you're only considering circuits which have constant depth, then there exist explicit polynomials which cannot be computed by small sized constant depth circuits. Now, analogous statements are known in the Boolean world as well. But what makes this an extremely exciting result for the algebraic world is that depth reduction results are known in the algebraic setting, whereas that's not known in the Boolean setting. So Agrawal Vinay had shown that any circuit of size S can be converted to a depth 4 circuit of size S to the order root D. And if the original circuit was homogeneous, then the final circuit is also homogeneous. Later, after that, Gupta, Kamath, Kayal, and Saptarishi showed a similar statement for depth 3 circuit. So any circuit of size S can be converted to a depth 3 circuit of size S to the order root D. And what is amazing is that the lower bound that these people give, the Limai, Srinivasan, and Tavenas give, is actually tight for both of these models. So the hard polynomial for which they give the lower bound, for that polynomial, its homogeneous depth 4 complexity is actually equal to n to the theta root d, and the depth 3 complexity is actually equal to n to the theta root d. Okay, which is why it seems like we are doing very good, very well, we're doing great. However, for general models, we really have a long, long way to go. For general circuits, the best lower bound that we know is due to Bauer and Strassen. And the lower bound is just n log d, okay, which is like barely superlinear. They showed that there is an algebraic, they showed that for this polynomial, summation xi to the di running from 1 to n, any algebraic circuit computing this polynomial must have at least n log d wires. Okay, and this was also the best lower bound that was known for general ABPs. Okay. For restricted ABPs with only d+1 layers, Mrinal showed that for the same polynomial, any ABP with at most d+1 layers must have at least nd vertices. Okay, and what we showed is that this can be generalized to non-homogeneous ABPs as well. Okay, so we showed that any ABP computing summation xi to the di running from 1 to n must have at least omega nd vertices. And this is the best lower bound that is known for general ABPs. For formulas, something slightly better was known. So Kalarkoti showed that any formula computing the n cross n symbolic determinant requires n cubed wires. Okay. So now, because the number of variables in the polynomial is n squared, the lower bound is actually n to the 3/2. Okay. And Spilka Yehudyov in their survey using the same method showed that there is an n-varied multilinear polynomial such that any formula computing it requires n square by log n. Okay. So this is analogous to a result by Nechiporuk in the Boolean setting. And it can be shown that using this similar methods, you cannot improve the lower bound to beyond n square by log n. What we showed is that using our method, you could give an n square lower bound. So we could get rid of the log n factor in the denominator. This is something that is not known in the Boolean world. So we showed that any formula computing the elementary symmetric polynomial over n variables of degree 0.1 n requires n square vertices. Okay. And again, the earlier lower bounds were on wires. This is on vertices. So it's also slightly stronger in that way. Okay. So it's clear now that we know very good lower bounds for structured models, or in particular, we saw constant depth models. Whereas for general models, we seem to be very far from our ultimate goal of proving super polynomial lower bounds. So the question is, are the proof techniques that seem to work so well for constant depth models or other restricted models, are they useful against general models? And that led to two separate groups of researchers, Forbes, Pilka-Volk, and Grocha, Kumar, Sachs, and Saraf, to define what are called algebraically natural proofs. So what are they? Suppose you want to show a lower bound against a circuit class C. Okay, then what we normally do is that we come up with a property which can be expressed as a polynomial, as a non-zero polynomial, such that if you pick up any polynomial from your circuit class C, then and look at it as a coefficient vector. So look at the coefficient vector of that polynomial. Then that coefficient vector is a root for this non-zero polynomial P, this property. And this is what I will call the a natural proof. Okay. And to actually get the lower bound, so because your polynomial was non-zero, you know that it has non-roots. To actually get the lower bound, what you need to find is an explicit polynomial, which is a non-root. So you need to find an explicit non-root for the polynomial, and you look at the corresponding polynomial. By definition, since it's a non-root, it cannot be in your class, and that leads to a lower bound. The question is, if your circuit class is VP, then do such natural proofs exist? Okay, and what we showed is that if the circuit class you are considering, so if your C is the class of polynomials which are in VP but additionally have bounded coefficients. So I've written only 1 minus 1, but any constant, so any bounded coefficient polynomials it's there in the class. So if you consider only polynomials which are in VP that have bounded coefficients, then such natural proofs do exist. Okay, in fact, the other authors in a follow-up work showed that if permanent is exponentially hard, which is something that most people expect it to be, then if natural proofs exist against VP, then there is also a natural proof which will exist which has explicit non-roots. So in other words, there will exist if natural proofs exist for VP, then there will exist natural proofs that will help you prove super polynomial lower bounds against general circuits. Okay, so finally, let's move to a slightly different setting, which is a non-commutative setting. So in this setting, xy is not equal to yx for variables indeterminants x and y. So because of that, your usual formula of x plus y whole square does not hold. Okay. Now, this is a natural model because, for example, matrix multiplication is non-commutative. And what is known in this setting? For circuits, it's the same. We don't know anything better than what we knew for the general setting. So Bauer-Strassen's lower bound is the best lower bound. But for formulas, we know an exponential lower bound, okay, due to Nissan. And in fact, the hard polynomial for which the lower bound is there, it belongs to VP. So it has efficient circuits. And hence, in the non-commutative setting, you actually know that VF is not equal to VP. Okay. The catch is that the lower bound proof of Nissan actually goes via ABP. So it's actually a lower bound against ABPs itself. Okay. What he showed was a complete characterization of the ABP complexity of non-commutative polynomials. Okay. And in fact, I don't know of any lower bound against non-commutative formulas that does not use this characterization. So basically, any lower bound that is known for general formulas is also a lower bound against ABPs itself. So because of that, the natural question is VF and BBP equal or different in the non-commutative setting? And okay, so this question is still open, but we made some progress. So I'll just mention that. So now note that in the non-commutative setting, because multiplication is non-commutative, every monomial can be thought of as a word over the underlying variables, right? Because x1, x2 is not equal to x2, x1. So it's a word. And because of that, what you can define are what we call abecedarian polynomials. So these are polynomials in which every monomial is alphabetically ordered. So these are polynomials in which x1, x1, x2 is allowed, but x1, x2, x1 is not allowed in the polynomial, right? And similarly, we can also define syntactically abecedarian formulas. So these are formulas with some syntactic restriction that makes them compute abecedarian polynomials. And what I could show was that there is a tight super polynomial separation between syntactically abecedarian formulas and ABPs. So basically there is an explicit polynomial which can be computed by small poly-sized ABPs, but any syntactically abecedarian formula must have super polynomials, and this lower bound is also tight. So there is a syntactically abecedarian formula computing that formula. Okay, yeah, that's all I wanted to say. Thank you for the attention.
Thanks for the great talk. Maybe we have time for one quick question while the next speaker sets up. So Sophie, if you want to start sharing your slides, and if anyone has any